Hello, everybody, especially our AP students here, AP families. The other night, last Thursday, I hosted a listening session, an informational session for AP families who were able to join us to talk about the new structure of the AP test for the 2020 school year, as well as some of the changes to how that test will be administered to students. So this video is really a refresher for people who are able to join us. We'll cover a lot of the same information. But it's specifically for people who are unable to join us, so you can get a sense of what the AP test is for this year. Please know that this is a fairly tectonic shift for AP. They're moving from a 3 to 3.5 hour test down to a 45-minute test for students. So the information I'm about to give you is extremely important in terms of how you would take the test, what you can expect to see, because in a 45-minute test structure, every single minute counts. So we're going to go over a few different things today, just a brief outline, testing structure, logistics for testing, cheating and consequences, and then some test-taking tips for this new structure. Those are some of the things I'm going to cover here, and I'm going to try and accomplish this in about 10 minutes. So let's kick it off. Testing structure. For the first year ever, this is the first time that the College Board will not have any face-to-face testing. They've shifted to a completely online structure for this year's 2020 AP tests. And they've moved, again, from that 3+ hour time format down to 45 minutes in duration for every single test. So no matter what test you're taking, it will only last for 45 minutes. My suggestion to you is this: log in 30 minutes early to the testing portal. The portal can be found on College Board's website for AP. Log in 30 minutes early, make sure that you're able to get in, make sure that you've given yourself enough time to feel confident navigating the system. And then once the test starts, from start to finish, you have 45 minutes to complete that test. And then you have 5 minutes afterward to upload your answers. So what does that test actually look like? Every single test, with the exception of a couple outliers like AP 2D Art, which is a portfolio-based test, but every single other test is either 1 or 2 free response questions. Okay, so let that sink in. It's either 1 or 2 free response questions for every single test. So you have 45 minutes to complete 1, essentially essay or DBQ, or 2 essays or DBQs. If you have 2, each one of your essays or your free response questions are timed individually. So the first one might be for a duration of 30 minutes. You might only have 30 minutes to complete that portion. So you would take the 30 minutes and you would respond to that question, and then they will give you a 5-minute upload time afterward. Once that 5-minute upload time expires, then you would complete free response number 2. And you would only have 15 minutes because the total amount of time they're giving you for the testing portions of the test, or the free response portions, is 45 minutes. So if your first one is 25 minutes, your second one is going to be 20 minutes, all right, so on and so forth. Most tests are only 1 free response question, which means you have 45 minutes to respond to that question, and then after every free response, you have 5 minutes to upload, all right? So that's really important for people to understand. What else is new? There are fewer topics. It's less expansive this year. They're only going to cover topics and content that a typical AP class would have covered through the beginning of March. So if you think about from September 1st all the way to essentially when we left school in mid-March, that is what the AP test will cover. Anything that would have typically been on a syllabus after that point will no longer make it on the test this year. So it's really important. But because there are fewer, less expansive topics, it means they're going to go deeper into what was covered. So if you find that you have a weak point, you need to make sure that you dive into it. And we'll talk about some ways to do that in a minute here. All right. Some of you might be thinking, well, how do I even take the test? What are my options? All right. The College Board has tried to make it extremely, extremely easy in terms of device options on how you take this test. So if you have a computer, a desktop, laptop, Chromebook, tablet, smartphone, it can be taken on any one of those devices using the College Board portal. You can even take it offline. You can handwrite your answers and then upload a picture of your response to the website, to College Board's website, in that 5-minute upload afterwards. But no matter what you're doing, you only have 45 minutes to take the test. All right? So you have a lot of options. If you have questions about the options, by the way, or if you have issues maybe with internet connectivity or an unreliable device, you can do one of two things. Number one, I will attach the AP question form that we've done through the high school so that you can contact us saying, hey, I could really use some help getting a device, or I could really use some help getting to an area where I can connect to the internet. Or, and this is, I think, fairly amazing, the College Board has offered to give a device and hotspot to anybody who needs one, but you need to contact their customer support, and it's going to take about 5 days for that to happen. So there's really two different options there. My suggestion, start with us. Contact us at the high school with your question through that AP questionnaire form. All right. Another question a lot of people had online is, how is AP going to monitor this? Will they be using a webcam? The College Board has come out and said, no, there will be no webcam. So they're not going to monitor, they're not watching. We'll talk about how they're going to prevent cheating and plagiarism in one of our later sections of this outline. All right. The last thing, testing structure. You, for the first time ever, will have to know your information backwards, forwards, inside out, right side up. You only have 45 minutes. And they're going to ask you to synthesize and analyze information better and deeper than you ever have. All right. What they're saying is, because this is an at-home test, you only have 45 minutes, it's free response, it is also open book, open notes. So if you have your book, take it out. If you have notes from class, take those out. If you have study materials from online, get those out. But here's the deal. In 45 minutes, you do not have time to sift through chapter after chapter or note after note. You really need to know your information really well. You need to organize your notes really well, and know that AP and the College Board have said they will not be giving any points for answers or content that can be found in the book, which means name dropping, dates, facts, figures, things like that. Those things will not score you points on this test. Instead, you are going to need to make connections. You're going to need to make judgments. You're going to need to synthesize and analyze and compare and contrast. And to do those things, you really, really, really need to know your content. So make sure you've got the resources organized. Make sure that you know your information inside and out. All right. Number 2, logistics for testing. All of our testing dates are May 11th through the 22nd. Check out the FAQ sheet and the College Board website that I'll attach to the video here for when your specific testing is. I believe we lucked out. All of our testing times are the same for every single one of the tests we administer, and that is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, so make sure you check that. Your AP teacher should also be getting that information out to you. There is a makeup date in June, but that is only in an emergency situation. So everyone hopefully is going to be testing May 11th through the 22nd, but we know things happen. And so if you get sick, if something occurs and you're just not able to test on that date, the first thing you need to do is contact your AP coordinator or myself, and we will work to get you that emergency date. All right. We already talked about that you could take the test on a multitude of devices, and that there is an AP question form out there if you have questions for us or if you need help with technology. But what about scoring? A lot of people have contacted me with that question. Is the score the same? Typically, AP has been scored on a 1 to 5 scale, and if you get a 3, 4, or a 5, typically you get college credit for it. The College Board has come out and said, yes, we are going to score it the same, and yes, colleges are still accepting this for credit or for college placement, and they're going to stick with that 3, 4, or 5. So colleges across the nation, by and large, are saying, yes, this is still a valid determination or assessment of how much our kids know in an intro-level college course. Well, there's been no blanket statement from every single state, including the state of Wisconsin, the University of Madison, the University of Minnesota. Majority of these universities are saying, yes, we will take them like we would have taken them in years past. And I would expect that in the next couple of weeks, more colleges will buy into that. We've seen massive states like California and New York who are already buying in and saying, yes, we will accept them across the board in our system. So if you have questions, my suggestion, check out your specific college's page if you are already accepted to a university, or if you know you want to go to a specific university, and see if they will specifically take it. If you don't want to take it, if you're thinking to yourself right now, wow, I signed up for a 3.5 hour test with multiple choice, with free response questions, and now I have a 45-minute free response, and that is just not my cup of tea. just know this. The College Board has said they will give a full refund with no late fees or anything like that, a full refund if the student opts not to take the test. If that is you and you want a refund as a family because you don't want to take the test any longer, please contact the AP coordinator for the high school, which is Miss Mayone, or myself, and we will work that out for you. A lot of questions have come in about cheating and consequences online. Obviously, a lot of people are concerned. Not only I don't want to cross a line that I don't know is there with an open book or open note test and be perceived as a cheater or plagiarist, but also what about the equity between me who, as a student, I'm going to take the test honestly, and somebody else who might be cheating on that test, is that going to hurt my score? Know this, the College Board has come out and said that they have implemented a number of online cheating prevention tools, plagiarism detectors. Some of them they've made public, and others they're keeping secret, obviously to detect cheating and make them more effective. But here's the real deal. I don't believe anybody's going to be able to cheat, but here is the real deal. Free response questions are extremely difficult to cheat on. You have 45 minutes. The easiest way for you to get a good score on the test is for you to take the test. I think the things that are going to be the most difficult to navigate for you as students are twofold. Number one, make sure that you are not crowdsourcing or reaching out to anybody during the test. College Board has said that will be determined as cheating. They will invalidate your scores. They will contact your colleges. They will contact the school, and there will be consequences for those things. So if you have an older brother or sister or somebody around you, or you get on line with a friend or you call that friend and you say, let's take this test together, know that that is considered cheating. You cannot get help via online, via in person, via social media. They are looking for those things, and there are consequences. The other thing that I think is probably a risk is it is an open book and open note test. That doesn't mean that you can copy things down verbatim. So please do not be looking online for somebody's essay, or please don't copy vast paragraphs out of a book. That is plagiarism. They will ding you for that. They will invalidate your test scores. Use those as resources to support your answer. Don't use those as your answer. All right? But again, in 45 minutes, you do not have the time to be reaching out to people. You don't have the time to be trying to look through your book to copy vast swaths of information. Make sure that your work is your work. Don't put yourself in an unfortunate situation. Lastly, test taking tips. How do I prep for this? It's brand new. It's a brand new test structure, right? Well, yes, the test structure is new, but the content is the same. It's the content you've been working on all year long. So know this. Number one, the College Board has a number of online courses that they're offering. If you visit the College Board site for AP, and you look under your specific course, you will see that every single day they're offering live courses, and they're recording these courses so that if you're late to the party, you can go back and look at specific topics. If you know a topic that you are maybe a little weaker on, just know that you can go and look up that topic and you can get a refresher. They also are going to be opening up practice tests so that you can practice taking a free response 45-minute test through the College Board page. And lastly, and probably the biggest resource, your AP teacher will be utilizing test prep materials and will be helping you with this testing shift. So if you have questions about it, reach out to your AP teacher and he or she can help you. Prep your site. So you're going to be taking this at home or somewhere. Make sure that wherever you're taking it, if it's your room, you clean it up. Make sure it's free of distractions. Make sure you tell people not to bother you during that time period. Again, 45 minutes is going to blaze by. And you don't have time for somebody to pop in and say, hey, we're ordering pizza. What kind of pizza toppings do you want? That's going to waste valuable time. So make sure your site is prepped. Make sure the people around you are prepped to know that from 1 o'clock to 1:45, you are not to be disturbed. And then make sure that you've gathered your information, your class notes, your book. It's all open book again, but make sure that you've gathered those up. They're in one place. They're organized. And finally, reach out to those around you. Reach out to myself, Miss Mayone, your AP teachers, Mr. Kosmowski for help. We're all here to help answer your questions. This has been kind of a blazing 15-minute tutorial on the new changes for the AP College Board AP testing for this year. I hope it was helpful.